Students, we have a pleasure of welcoming Dr. Nalbandyan, who is here within the framework of Master Match program. It's a U.S. Department of State program, which is hosting professors from America and Armenia back in the U.S. Ջոն Նալբանդyan is from University of Kansas. He holds a doctoral degree from there. He's also a professor, and he has headed that chair for approximately 12 years, if I'm not mistaken. Which is not necessary. So he has headed the chair for 12 years. He also served as he also served in the City Council of Lawrence from 1991 to 1999, and he has also been mayor. He was elected as mayor from 93 to 94. So he will have a lot of things to share with us. So the floor is yours, and thanks a lot for coming and for accepting our invitation. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Robert, and thank you all for spending time with me this afternoon. I've never been to Armenia before, and it's nice to see that there was a street named after me. That's a joke. My mother was born in Istanbul, and she came to America when she was 7 years old. And she spoke not a word of English, and she went on to become a very literate, very literary person. My father's family, we're not quite sure where they came from, but he was born in America. I believe my grandmother came in 1915, and her first husband was a victim of the genocide, and she came with 2 children and married in the U.S. and my father. So with parents, one an immigrant and one growing up in a very ethnic family, and I was the first person to go to college and earn a PhD. And my wife is the same, she's Japanese, and same thing. So we have 2 PhDs in our families, both from immigrant families. And so whenever we hear questions about stories about immigration, we get a little very antsy about those kinds of things. So thank you very much for welcoming me. Robert, thank you. That's my backyard. That's not my backyard, but that is Kansas. And that's where I live. And that's, of course, out in the country. And we were driving on the highway going from Kansas City to Denver, which is, like 1,000 kilometers. And these are sunflowers. And the sunflowers were just waving at us as we were driving by. So I said, Carol, let's stop. And we stopped, and she took that nice picture. So I just wanted to share with you that is the picture of Kansas, and that's where Dorothy came from The Wizard of Oz. I'm going to go through a couple of trends. I'm going to show you the implications of the trends for leadership, and then we'll talk a little bit about collaborative leadership and collaborative competencies. I'm sorry I have to do this all in English, but otherwise we would be completely silent here. Okay. Two fundamental trends operating internationally, and that's why they're so powerful. The first is what I call administrative modernization, and the second is the desire to create, maintain, and preserve a sense of community and a sense of identity. These 2 trends come from international research. This research had to do with trying to identify jurisdictions, local jurisdictions throughout the world, that did the best at combining the values of responsiveness to citizens with efficiency in service delivery. When they examined those jurisdictions and the winners, what they found were these two trends. The trend of modernization grows from a worldwide emphasis, and I want to make sure you understand this, a worldwide emphasis on commerce, efficiency, technology, and the desire to accumulate wealth. The focus on community comes from the desire to create something unique. Who are we? What are we? Who do we belong to? So while the trend at modernization is making us similar throughout the world, we retain the desire to be separate and to be individuals and to be communities. And these two trends operate independently, simultaneously, and they can easily conflict. And the conflict is what I want to talk about. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, I want to show you this. This slide is 70 years old now. A county agent in the United States is a person who works in the field of agriculture, farming, livestock. He works for the government. And the function of the county agent and the agency is to bring the latest knowledge to bear, bring it to farmers, so that they will have the latest scientific knowledge about how to grow their crops and do the livestock. Okay? Now I want you to look at this picture, and the county agent is the person who has his hands around the cow. Okay? So he is imparting some knowledge about raising cattle. Now, who is he talking to? Who is the closest to him and the cow? That woman, that girl. Is not quite a woman yet, okay? That's a girl, okay? She's carrying a little book in her hand, which is where she's going to take her notes, all right? And so what we have as the focus of this picture is the county agent who represents expertise. See, he represents the latest in knowledge. And that girl who he's talking to represents the optimism of youth. And so what this picture is designed to do is to show us the connection between expertise and the faith we have in the joining of expertise with the future generations, with youth, and that represents the optimism that we have for the future.